Hello everyone, this is a quick look at two separate products. I got here the large action figure versions of Miles Morales and Spider-Man from LEGO, new for 2022. This one here comes with 238 pieces. This one has 258 pieces, and I bought these for $25 each, so $50 for the pair, and I don't think they come together, so just independently, and I'm just covering them here in one video because I might as well just save you a little bit of time. Relative to the Venom that I previously reviewed, well, here's what he looks like. So Venom's a little bit larger than the others, though priced the same. And if you didn't see that Venom review, this is a large character and creature building system action figure, one of the taller ones, not the tallest, but taller from the later generation. Here's one of the regular modern Marvel mechs, and this is what a minifigure looks like for the sake of scale. The builds are very similar between these two, with the lower legs of Miles Morales being just slightly shorter, ever so slightly. I think it's one single stud. And overall, these are very similar in how they're put together and how they're approached design-wise to the Iron Man that we got as kind of the introduction to this new system. There are no stickers, so everything that looks like a decoration is a print, and that includes this right here, which is obviously more of a dark gray more of a dark red than a regular red. I do wish that was printed a little bit brighter. But this print here and this print here, those don't look as bad, just relatively speaking, because, I don't know, just the way that the colors work out, and also the print for the head, I think, works out just fine. These do have very skinny necks. When you turn around to the side, it starts to fall apart a little bit. A lot of people don't like the shape of the head piece. I personally am okay with it, and we'll just have to agree to disagree on that. That's perfectly fine. These are not the traditional character and creature building system shoulder pads that we've gotten a number of times, many times in the past, including on some non-large action figure sets. This is actually a new piece that has a bar at the end of it. So I think one of the last of those Hero Factory era or Hero Factory derived parts is now gone for good. You got the ability to clip things into the hands, and this does come with the full set of the trans light blue or frosted light blue version of the web blast and splat parts. And let me switch you over to Spider-Man real quickly, and then we'll look at articulation. There are subtle differences in the build between these two, but they really are just subtle. The Spider-Man one really stands out a lot more because of the very strong color scheme, and printing black against red is much easier to get right. Harder to get wrong, put it that way. Harder to get wrong than printing red against black. And the whites here are not perfect white, but they're white enough. So quality-wise, as far as the production is concerned, I'm respectably happy here, once again, with the clips in the hands to hold on to the web, spinning bits coming out that can be arranged in different ways. And then coming down here, you got an additional print right there. The kneecaps on these can be moved, and that goes for all of them. And the feet are built pretty much the same. As you saw, the head is on a Mixel's ball joint. It's able to move all around. It's got plenty of range of motion, but again, from many angles, when you set it, you're gonna see the lack of neck. It's not a good look. It's not a good look at all, but at least the mobility is there. The pauldrons can get out of the way because they need to be able to do so in order to articulate the arms. These are on ball joints with the latest version of socket piece, which is stronger than before, and I believe uses a similar, I think it might actually use a little bit more plastic. They tried to be efficient with those, but it might use a little bit more because it is indeed quite a bit stronger. But yeah, you can keep the pauldron bit down. And it just depends upon the pose that you want to have. The elbows give you only a single axis of movement, so you're able to flex fully but not extend all the way. Unfortunately, that's not able to go completely straight, but it's not too bad, at least for the sake of play. You can go fully forward, fully back. Can't really go across the chest, but you can kind of fake it like that. You can't bring the upper arm inward, but you can kind of fake it this way, so you can still be like shooting off over there. That's not too bad. You can individually articulate the fingers here, just 3 fingers and a thumb. Thumb's not able to move much more than that, just opening and closing, and the wrist is able to move around plenty. Doesn't feel too much like things are going to be falling off here. I'm actually a little bit more impressed after messing around with these things for a while than I thought I would be with the durability for kids play. Obviously, you got full 360 degrees of rotation at the waist, and then the legs are on ratcheted joints. Now, this is where we have problems, where I have problems with the articulation. It's able to go back just fine. Knee is able to move just fine. You're even able to hyperextend the knee if you need to. And then there's a ball joint down at the ankle, which is limited in its range of motion, but I think there's a fair amount there. And the limitations, I think, are reasonable because you don't want this to fall over easily. However, moving the leg forward to do a kick or just to reach it forward stops right there. So if I have this straight in, if the legs are straight, go forward one click, and that's just about it. Try to go another click, and it's already starting to rotate the joint out, which I can do. So I can splay this, can splay it out. Now I can bring this up. Now I have clearance, but I had to splay the leg in order to do that. So you kind of, again, have to fake it a little bit, just like going across the chest with the arm. So I am able to get into this kind of, let's see, maybe something like this kind of pose. Is that going to stay? Is there? There we go. See, that's not too bad, right? It's just that if a kid grabs this, or even myself grabs this and then tries to go forward with it, pieces are going to start to break off. You can see that part right there just loosened. That actually happened to me right after I built the thing. I tried to show the articulation, and there it goes. Off the piece pops. That is definitely a miss. And for kids, I personally recommend just leaving these two parts off entirely. Put a tile there if you want, but it's just going to make this so much easier to play with just, I mean, you get more range of motion right there, and it's less frustrating. Yeah, so that is definitely a recommendation. It's definitely a little bit of a miss. And again, the build for Miles Morales is functionally the same. That includes right here at that little point of weakness of design, so you can get the exact same thing going on there. Otherwise, the range of motion is the same, and the only differences, again, in the size are from the length of the lower leg, and there's no functional difference there. Overall, these are able to pose fairly, oops, I just completely overdid that. That's my fault. Fairly easily. Like, it doesn't take too much to get to the point where it's able to stand. And, you know, it can be in a pretty dynamic looking pose. You know what? I did not try seeing if I can make a kneeling pose. I didn't try that at all. Without it using a hand as a tripod, can I do something like this? Yeah, just about. Doesn't take too much. It's almost there. I think a little bit. There we go. Not too bad. Still wanted to fall over a little bit, but there's something in there. If I can just get this adjusted a little bit more, there's definitely a spot. There are multiple spots where you can get kneeling poses with that. So as far as, posability is actually pretty decent, even though there are some quirks with it. Chief among them being that. On the left here are the leftover parts from Miles Morales, and on the right are the ones from the Spider-Man. Pretty much the same things. Honestly, looking at the action figure market right now, value here is not that bad at $25 US. However, £25 UK is a little bit steeper, although VAT is included there, but taxes are less. In the United States, it's 30 euros also, which is also higher. So yeah, your mileage may vary a little bit, but just overall for amount of stuff and capability of what you can do with these as toys, I think is good. However, of course, with regular action figures, you're going to have more durability, you're going to have more accuracy, and I think a little bit more longevity of play, because you've got the two small issues with parts that do pop off. The other issue for me, for play for these, like display and just light play is okay, but I think long-term play I'm a little bit worried about, because some of these joints already, even with the redesigned joints, feel a little bit loose to me for the height, for the amount of mechanical disadvantage that they're subject to, and the weight of the whole thing. It just feel a little bit loose, and like they need more friction in almost all of them. The waist, I think, is the best. The head is, This is, it doesn't really matter that much, although I would like to have a little bit more strength, because I do worry that over time, maybe that'll start to fall, especially with these longer accessories added on. See, it's not too bad just yet, but it does if I can get past that static friction point, it starts to want to pull away from me. But the other joints are just feeling a little too loose. Maybe the shoulders are the best here. Yeah, all told. But down in the knees and the ankles, I'm a little bit worried about that. I don't think that this is the best toy for younger kids, but these are specifically marketed towards kids 8 and up. So it makes a little bit more sense to me, but I start to worry that kids might want a little bit more out of figures, a little bit more realism by the time they get to that age and up until, let's say, the 10-year-old range. So I don't know if these have a wide, broad market as far as the kids that they'll go after, but for what they are, as they are, they're not bad. Prints need to be a little bit better. Design needs a little bit of help, but value, I think, is decent. And of course, for the tiny, tiny minority of folks who do a ton of custom work, well, it's Lego, so go to town. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.